What's going on, guys? This is Martyrs Brigade 99 coming to you once again with another session of Dark Souls commentary. Alright, so this is part 2 of the series, and we're on our way down to the depths. But first we have to go ahead and have our dialogue with the Sombro. Now, for some reason, a question, while we're kind of at the subject. For some reason, I do not understand why for a long time, me and a few others, actually, that I've read and heard speak about it myself, would pronounce it Soltaire, right? When actually it's Solaire. I had to check that out on the Dark Souls wiki. I don't know why, for whatever reason, I thought it was Soltaire. That's pretty weird. Alright, anyway, so we're going to go ahead on down to the depths. But we're first going to go ahead and give us quick access to the bonfire. Right, and the reason why we just don't go ahead and go straight to the boss is because in the event that we die, we like to have a shortcut. I mean, no one wants to go ahead and go through that long route. So this is why we kind of do this first before going to the boss. So let's go ahead and rejuvenate our Estus. And actually, I kind of should have kindled that bonfire now that I'm looking at it. But, it's not all that deep. It's in the beginning stages. And, at level 46, I have enough vitality. So, kindling that bonfire is not really necessary at this point. Alright, let's go ahead and take care of him. And quite actually, I remember a few times I kind of ran past them, and those guys will actually chase you down the stairwell. Right, so it might be a good idea for you to do that. Alright. Now, you guys may be asking yourself, now why did he just return to the bonfire? Well, going down to the depths, there's a door, right, where you release one of the students to the dragon school if you want to buy some of those sorceries. And at the time that I went through the first time, in the first vid rather, I never bought that that special key that gave me access to the room. So that's what happened. I just, omitted that part, going down there and talking to him. I didn't really think that was important. A lot of you guys are familiar with that. So I'm going to go ahead and lay my summon sign down, just in case someone may need some help with the good old Taurus, not the Taurus demon, with the good old boss. We might get lucky this time around. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and use the residence key. Pretty sure you guys are familiar with the dialogue, so there's really no need to go through that. Alright, so now that we have freed this person, next time we are at the beginning bonfire, he'll be there, kind of offset to the side to offer us sorceries. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and tackle these guys who can definitely be a headache. Right, because those guys can, they can parry, they can kind of jump on your back and slice your throat, hit you with the bleed effect. They are really an annoyance sometimes. Alright. See, and this is what usually happens. That gets on my nerves. But, that's minimal damage, so it's no big deal. But, and he hit me with the parry. Annoying again. But as I was saying, even though it's not really a big deal because I am at least level 46 at this particular point, it can be a headache if it's your first playthrough. Right? Because starting from scratch, you really do not have that much vitality. And relative to your vitality bar, you know, starting from scratch, you know, those little, you know, parries or whatnot, they can really chop down at your vitality. I mean, I remember losing and having to start over at that point a number of times. All right. So now we're at the high speed point where we need to get the key to the depths, but we first have to go ahead and defeat the demon. And it's pretty easy, seeing that we have the +5 Chaos Rapier. But once again, it may or may not be that easy when you're starting from scratch. Right? Because starting from scratch, the only thing you have is that high speed, it's like a dragon sword, dragon tail sword, something like that. And its beginning stats are only, I think it's like 200, something like that. And it doesn't scale with anything. Right? So yeah. So we're heading on down into the depths. Go ahead and take care of these good old undead. Now, these are relatively easy, right? But once again, I will keep making references to if you're starting from scratch in the event that someone who's fairly new to the game is watching the series, right? Because I'm basically just breezing through it. As I said before, this is a character build series. I'm not really concentrating on the let's play aspect of it. But I will talk about some of the things that new players will have to encounter should they do this from scratch. Right? So this is where you would get your pyromancies. Go ahead, free him from bondage. And, you know, once you do that, as a form of gratitude, they'll go ahead and meet you back at the beginning. Alright, so we go ahead and take care of this undead dog or wolf or whatever it is. Go ahead and tighten up this guy with the high-speed bag over his head. And this is where we'll grab a valuable treasure, the large ember. Right, in case some of you guys are not familiar, it'll allow us to upgrade excuse me, our weapons from the +5 up to a +10. So at this stage of the game is pretty important. Right? Let's go ahead and take care of the high-speed undead rat. Get a free humanity. Go grab the key. And actually, I'm not even sure what that key goes to. To tell the truth. Right? So we're going to take a quick path to the bonfire. And this is the way I always take. You know, some of those guys, when they first go down the steps, there's an access path that you can take that is a little quicker. But the reason why I don't like that path is because you cannot take the shortcut to the boss. Right? So the route that I just took, you know, once you get to the bonfire and you reset your Estus, at least you can go head on down the stairs and take a shortcut to the gaping dragon. Right? So this is why I follow this particular path. I've played with other guys on co-op and they just go immediately to the bonfire, taking another route that I'm pretty sure a lot of you are familiar with. Alright, so we're going to go ahead before we get a chance to summon someone for a little co-op. We're going to go ahead and take care of the rats. You know, as most of you guys know, they have a chance of dropping humanity. That right there, that's nothing but a great axe. Right? But because we are not a warrior build or a strength build, there's really no need to pick it up. Right? As I said before, I will not be going after every item, every weapon, every shield, every armor. Right? Because it is really not relevant to the build that I'm creating. Right? But that was a great axe. Which, I mean, it's pretty strong, but it kind of sucks. Right? Because outside of strength, the swing speed is so slow that, I mean, if you miss, you're in trouble. Alright, so let's go ahead and tighten the rats up. Get rid of this annoying Chandler. Alright, tighten these up. And ordinarily, I probably wouldn't go after these, but, you know, since they have a chance of dropping humanity, why not? You know, you can never get enough humanity. So at this point, now that we've gotten rid of that, we're going to go ahead over to the bonfire. Now, in case you guys, this is your first experience with Dark Souls, the reason why we stopped basically at the Chandler is because if you do not kill that Chandler, when you're fighting the gaping what is that thing called? Gaping dragon, I think. Well, I'll just say when you're fighting the boss at this stage, it will fire magics at you. So not only will you have to worry about the boss, but you will also have to worry about that Chandler fire magics, and it also will boost the attack strength of the boss. Right? So, I mean, unless you're a professional or you're relatively experienced, you know, if you're pretty new to the game, you probably want to do what I just did, right? And take care of that Chandler first. Alright, so now we got high-speed help, Mesa 97. Hopefully I pronounced that right. Alright, and from what it looks like, he's got the gargoyle helm, Black Knight sword. Looks like he's got good old the last boss's armor. That's what it looks like, if I'm not mistaken. So it's probably his second playthrough. I don't know. Alright, so ordinarily I would just go straight to the boss, but I'm just going to go ahead and go through this path and defeat the Dark Wraith that will invade very soon. Take care of this annoying beast. And you know, if you're playing this from scratch, those things can really be an annoyance. I remember the first time I came down into the depths, I got cursed, and that's what they hit you with. They kind of expel this smoke that'll hit you with the curse. And once you're cursed, it basically brings your health down to half. Right? But most of you guys know that. Alright, so we just got rid of Kirk. And now it's on to the boss. Now, to the extent that you guys are interested in that Armor of Thorns. And, you know, I mean, before I finish it, you know, as I said in the very beginning, some of this may be repetitive if you guys are, you know, veterans, right? So I'm just stating the obvious in the event that someone clicks on the video who is not familiar to the game, right? So some of these things, I mean, that's why I said some of you guys may be bored with this, but I'm going to state the obvious on some of these. Anyway, as I was saying, if you guys are interested in that Armor of Thorns, actually there's 3 locations where you have to defeat it before you're able to get it. Alright, so that's the first area. And we'll obviously go through the other 2 areas where you have to defeat it before you are able to get his armor. Alright, so here's the boss of the depths. The Gaping Dragon. Alright, now there's a armor set over there, but we're not worried about it because we don't need it. We already have our armor for this particular build, so we'll just go ahead and ignore that. Once again, if you guys are fairly new to the game, what you would want to do, especially if you're creating a strength build, is attack the tail. You get a nice strength weapon for attacking that tail, but once again, I don't need it. So my priority is actually not the tail, I'm just trying to kill him. Alright, that was a pretty unexpected attack. I didn't really think that tail was going to reach at the distance that I was, right? So I give him the WTF. Alright, so that's nothing. He's just doing this little jump attack. Alright, and that is the weapon you would get. Dragon King Great Axe. Alright, he's hitting him with the pyro. I'll go ahead and finish them off. Alright guys, this is the end of part 2 of the series. So I'll just go ahead and stand by for part 3. Martyr's Brigade is